Michael Newman.
Yes, I played against him last round. Alright.
Alright, guys, back with round 4 coverage of the 2014 store-sponsored West Virginia State Championships here in, what is it, Sutton or Flatwoods?
This is Flatwoods, but it's a Sutton address.
Okay. Doesn't matter. Both of those places are cities in West Virginia you've never heard of before. My name is always Zachary Evans. I'm joined by O2 dropsman Garrett Meadows. Not O2. It was a 1-2 with a bye, right?
Yes.
You defeated all the opponents that didn't show up today.
That's right.
But not the best day for him, but a good day for Magic in West Virginia, as 152 players have joined us here in Flatwoods for a store-sponsored standard event to determine bragging rights throughout the state. On your left, you've got Hank Carver from Buchanan, plays in Morgantown, plays at a lot of different stores. We've chosen to affiliate him with Four Horsemen Games in Morgantown. He's 3-0 on a very interesting Selesnya Aggro deck, as you see, a turn 1 Experiment 1 into turn 2 Voice. He also plays Advent of the Worm and Selesnya Charms, Soldier of the Pantheon, which you see as well. So not an archetype you see a lot of, either locally or on the national scene. His opponent is Rick Pittman, who plays with us down at Lost Legion in South Charleston, as well as some other stores in the area. And he is on pretty standard mono blue devotion. Is he still splashing white for?
He still has a couple of white cards in the sideboard.
Yep. So splashing white for Detention Sphere and
the 2 spheres main now.
Two D spheres in the main and Rootborn defenses out of the sideboard. So.
Assembled a 2/3 blocker now for those team of 2/2s.
But Hank's deck has 4 Selesnya Charms in it, so.
So you block the soldier here, since the soldier has protection from. Although you can't, because you're not going to specters multicolored.
Yes.
I was about to say you can.
You're looking for an out that didn't exist. You leveled yourself there.
I did. I totally
did. Garrett trying to. You cannot Selesnya Charm your Soldier of the Pantheon, but you also cannot block it with the Night Veil Spectre. So just serving in with a bunch of 2-power creatures. Hank putting Rick basically dead on board because he was clearly representing. Well, he may not have even been representing Selesnya Charm there, because he's fine if he's okay if you block the Voice of Resurgence. He's fine. You cannot block the Soldier. He's basically forcing 4 damage through anyway,
right.
And it's very likely that he's representing Selesnya Charm or end of turn Advent. Yeah. And there's a Master of Waves for 4.
This is going to be good as long as that was an Advent of the Worm plan and not a Selesnya Charm plan. Even still, the Worm has trample, so Rick's up against it.
Rick is not in a great spot here, no matter what, no matter what.
I don't like that attack.
This is a very aggressive attack from Rick.
We've played our land this turn, and
there's a Selesnya Charm off the top.
You get the intrinsic value of actually getting that card out of Hank's hand, but that could have been any card in the game.
Yes, it's the old Schrodinger's cat syndrome, which is, yes, you're glad that he's not drawing Selesnya Charm, but also it could have been forced. It could have been Hunted Wumpus for that matter.
Yes,
you never know what card.
The Selesnya Charm be out of the Wumpus.
Yes. So end of turn Advent as expected out of Hank. So representing with the Evolve on the Experiment 1. Was that 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12 power, 5 of which tramples.
Yeah. And there's a pre-combat Experiment 1 in case this Voice of Resurgence ends up dying.
So he's going to serve it. Can attack with. There we go. So serves in with everybody. I mean, Rick has blocks here, but he doesn't have like very favorable blocks. I really hope Hank does not Selesnya Charm that Soldier of the Pantheon, and I have to try and run out there as quick as I can. But Rick is pretty much obligated at this point to just chump everything, right?
Well, he has to chump 2. He has to chump them all and then throw one of the guys also in front of the worm to prevent. Well, no, he's at 8. I thought he was at 5 for some reason.
No, he is at 8.
So he can, if he has another Master Waves, he might be able to set up a turn where he kills him on the crackback.
They're slowly moving the life total counter as far off the screen as possible. So we're letting the voice come through. Before damage, we got to if we want to prevent that. Well, the voice research is not going to, or the Experiment 1 doesn't need to regenerate since it's a 3/3. The Soldier will trade, and we're content with damage here. So Rick loses his team, taking 4 from the worm and 2 from the voice, right?
Yep.
Down to 2.
Rick's playing this an awful lot like he has a second Master of Waves.
Or what about a Cyclonic Rift?
Well, he does have the Nick, though, so he only has 4 devotion, though.
Yeah. Second Master of Waves is still not very good, considering you're playing against the giant growth deck with a 5/5 Trampler.
Yeah.
And this is also just an awkward situation for Rick because there's so many combat tricks. Like you can just, even if he doesn't have a trick, you can open yourself up to playing this incorrectly in a variety of ways. Just an innocuous block that looks like it's fine.
The card we haven't seen yet. Obviously, if we had a Celestial Charm, we probably already won the game last turn. The card that's now got to be ringing in Rick's mind is Boon Satyr. Because that we didn't hit a 5th land to bestow the Boon Satyr, and we have 3 land up this turn. So it's very possible that Hank has a Boon Satyr here, but we're going to activate Nykthos.
Activating Nykthos for 4. There is another Master of Waves, like you said. So that will make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tokens this turn.
So his blocks look a whole lot better.
Or it should be 5 tokens, right?
Yeah. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. He probably has just one stacked underneath another one.
Well, I'm assuming he does. It's very difficult for me to make it out there before the game state changes. He's been very aggressive with this Nightvale Spectre. Like, is that 2 damage really going to make a difference?
If it is, we should be doing it before we make any other decisions.
And he nets another Celestia Charm, so...
We did it last turn after we played a lane and tapped out.
Nightvale Spectre is on the Surgical Extract Celestia Charm plan this game.
So far it's 2 for 2. So we got Hank thinking here.
Exactly as you're like an oracle in this game.
It's like I play this.
As expected, the last card in Hank's hand is a Boon Satyr, which flashes in. End of turn involves both of the experiment ones. This is an aspect of Magic that I just cannot stand. This is part of the reason why Sealed Deck and Draft does not appeal to me as much as the constructed formats, which is we each have 1,000 creatures. Who wins in this spot?
Spoiler alert, it's Hank.
Well, I mean, Rick is at 2, so even with the second Master, like you can make some headway here, but you're going to have to throw most of your team away in order to survive.
Well, he can double block the worm now. Well, no, he can't double block the worm because his guys only have 2 toughness.
The only creature that he could effectively block the worm with is the one he keeps attacking with at the top.
No, we can double block the worm. We go down to 1, and then we just go 1 for 1 on all the other creatures if he chips in with the whole team. So, what's going to happen though is if we just attack with the worm and the voice resurgence token, that's going to be a huge voice resurgence token.
Well, the way that Rick is, I don't know if he's actually representing or just bluffing, because Rick is good enough player to know to bluff. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't like that. We could have at least got the voice in, which forces a block, and we'll evolve our 2 experiment ones and give you a 5/5 token.
Sure. I mean, Rick is praying for a Cyclonic Rift here, right?
Yeah, he has enough mana for it.
Well, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 off the Nykthos, 6, 7. So even with the Mutavault now he has 8.
He's got 6 3-power tokens. He's got 18, 22, 24 power on board now.
Oh, and I should say these we haven't mentioned it exactly, but these tokens are 3/2s now because of the Devil Masters.
Yeah.
Which makes his Mutavault a 4/2 as well.
Yeah. No, it's a 4/4. The Master Waves buffs the butt. The tokens are 1/0s. But the Mutavault just came down this turn, so we won't be attacking with it. We're seeing activation of Nykthos here for 5. 6, 7. This is your Cyclonic Rift.
If it is Cyclonic Rift, to a certain extent, if I would be upset if I was in Hank's shoes that we are thinking this hard about the most obvious play.
We have untapped mana. We could have another Boon Satyr.
Yeah, but I mean, like, worst case scenario for Rick, like...
Yeah, you've got to have 2 more mana. He'll get there. And Rick is a very deliberate player.
Yeah, but, like, there's no... Like, what change... What can Hank do? In response, he can cast more creatures that will just get bounced as well?
Oh, no, now we're going to the combat step. And, he can replay this Boone Satyr. But Rick definitely has enough power on board that even if the Boone Satyr comes down, it's
I think Hank was just one turn
there's another Boone Satyr on top.
Too slow there. We've seen obviously not. This is the first time tonight as Rick rides Cyclonic Rift and 2 Masters to victory there. We've seen Rick run pretty good on our F&M stream when it comes to drawing Cyclonic Rifts at the exact right time.
Okay.
No one's worried about blue.
all the blue creatures you would block are also accompanied by swords and lightning bolts. Right. They thought about it.
Alright, so Hank down a game and overloaded Cyclonic Rift getting the better of him in game 1. Also on a mull to 6 here in game number 2 as he tries to fight back in the sideboarded games against Rick's mono blue deck. Hank with not a turn 1 or turn 2 play stuck on double white mana.
Yeah, double planes, not even...
And there is a Ratchet Bomb on 0 to start, as they all are. We've unfortunately seen a couple matches so far on our feature match that have been like this, where someone doesn't really get to play Magic, which is always an unfortunate circumstance. So Rick already has an onboard answer to the most dangerous card in Hank's deck in the sideboarded games. It looks like Hank's going to have to pitch a card here. And end of turn, Rick is going to tick up his Ratchet Bomb. Sometimes he'll want it on 1, he'll want it on 2 if Skylasher does make an appearance, but at this point it seems relatively...
There's Rick's one of foil Master of Ways.
It could just be the glare, because the glare is really bad. Did Hank not have to discard? No, he didn't, because he was on 6. Yeah. So
Rick's got a clock now, which is what he needs to goldfish with.
He's got a second master here.
We can pump the other element.
Well, when he plays the master on 4 into an empty board, it seems obvious that he's on a double master draw, simply because there's not really a lot of reason to run out,
Well, we're taking 5. What he had last game, no interaction, no other permanents except for Night Veil Spectre. You kind of expect that he either has multiple Night Veil Spectres in his hand or he's building up to Master Waves, and unfortunately, Hank just not going to be able to play it in this game.
Nope. So all of Rick's tokens are 3 power, and then the 4 power from the other. So you're looking at 13 here, right?
He's got 9, 11, 13. Yeah, that's the ballgame.
So the unfortunate thing for Rick is he's wasting this tremendous draw on an opponent who is on 2 lands and mana screwed out of 1 color. So those are 12 from just the tokens.
Yeah.
And then another 16, and that's going to be enough. So there's a Temple Garden off the top. Let's see what was in Hank's hand. 2 Unflinching Courage, so he sideboards into the Lifelink plan.
Lifelink Trample plan.
Yeah, which seems fine. Like a lot of times you just need to the mono blue deck. Actually, it's more of a tempo deck than anything. It does all of its damage in giant swings.
Yeah, against this deck, it's purely a tempo deck.
So, unfortunate that Hank had to mull himself. He didn't really mull into oblivion. I'm sure he kept that 2-land, 6-card hand on the play, but the top of his deck not kind to him. So he falls down to 3-1, and Rick moves up to 4-0 in a pretty good spot so far in the tournament with a pretty standard mono blue devotion list. And again, we want to take this opportunity to thank the folks at Hometown Hobbies for sponsoring round number 4, as well as sponsoring the event located at 1119 4th Avenue in Huntington, West Virginia. So if you're in the area, make sure to check them out. Pretty much the only store in that Huntington metro area. Run a lot of big F&M events, pretty good turnouts down there, as well as Grand Prix trials and whatnot. So make sure you hit them up if you are in that area. And then again, make sure to support all of the sponsors of the event that you see. 8